What if love itself became a weapon? What if marriage vows were not promises of forever, but countdowns to death? In quiet cafes, matchmaking agencies, and hospital rooms across Japan, an elderly woman smiled softly polite, gentle, harmless. But behind that smile was cyanide. Behind those wedding rings were funerals. And behind the image of a lonely widow was one of the most chilling serial poisoners Japan had ever seen. Her name was Chisako Kakehi, a woman who turned romance into a death sentence and shocked the entire world. This is not just a crime story. This is a story of trust betrayed and love used as a lethal trap. Chisako Kakehi was born in 1946 in Saga Prefecture, Japan, into what appeared to be an ordinary family. There was nothing in her early life that screamed danger. Friends described her as quiet, polite, and traditional, the kind of woman who blended easily into society. She married young, lived a normal life, and for decades existed unnoticed. But beneath this calm surface, Chisako was learning something critical about human nature. Loneliness could be exploited, and trust could be poisoned, literally. As she aged and her first husband died of illness, Chisako's life took a dark turn. Instead of grief, she discovered opportunity. In Japan, matchmaking agencies for elderly individuals became increasingly popular. These services connected widows and widowers seeking companionship in their later years. For many, it was about avoiding loneliness. For Chisako Kakehi, it became a hunting ground. She signed up for multiple agencies, presenting herself as a gentle, financially modest widow. Her targets were almost always wealthy, elderly men, retired professionals, business owners, men with savings and property. They were not looking for danger. They were looking for love, and Chisako knew exactly how to give them the illusion of it. One by one, men who had recently become close to Chisako began to die suddenly. Heart attacks, sudden collapses, mysterious illnesses. At first, no one questioned it. After all, these men were elderly. Death, sadly, was expected. But there was a pattern. Each man had recently transferred money, assets, or insurance benefits to Chisako. Each death left her financially better off, and each time she cried convincingly at the funeral. Doctors signed death certificates. Families mourned. Chisako moved on quickly to her next relationship. Between 2007 and 2013, at least 7 men connected to Chisako Kakehi died under suspicious circumstances. Some were boyfriends. Some were fiancés. One was her husband. Each relationship followed the same chilling script: rapid emotional bonding, financial dependency, sudden illness, death. Investigators later discovered that Chisako often carried cyanide compounds, a fast-acting poison that mimics heart failure. It was clean. It was quiet. And it left almost no trace unless someone looked closely. In December 2013, Chisako married Isao Kakehi, a wealthy 75-year-old man. Just 2 months later, he collapsed suddenly during breakfast and died. This time, however, something was different. Isao's children demanded a deeper investigation. Toxicology reports revealed traces of cyanide. The quiet widow was no longer invisible. Police began reopening past cases. Bodies were exhumed. Financial records were examined. And a horrifying truth emerged. Chisako Kakehi was not unlucky in love, she was a serial killer. In November 2014, Chisako Kakehi was arrested. During interrogation, she initially denied everything. But under pressure, cracks began to show. She admitted to poisoning at least 3 men and hinted at more. Her motive was brutally simple: money. She saw relationships not as emotional bonds, but as investments with deadly exits. Prosecutors described her as calculating, patient, and remorseless. The Japanese media labeled her the Black Widow of Kyoto. The trial captivated the nation. How could a soft-spoken grandmother figure commit such monstrous crimes? Chisako's defense argued diminished mental capacity. Prosecutors argued pure greed. In 2017, the court reached its verdict: death sentence. The judge stated that her crimes were driven by selfishness and showed no respect for human life. For many in Japan, The verdict brought closure, but also fear. If someone like Chisako could hide in plain sight for years, who could truly be trusted? In 2024, Chisako Kakehi died in prison before her execution could be carried out. She left behind unanswered questions, grieving families, and a permanent scar on Japan's sense of safety. Her story serves as a chilling reminder that evil does not always shout. Sometimes it whispers, sometimes it smiles, and sometimes it asks you to fall in love. Chisako Kakehi didn't use violence. She used trust. She didn't chase victims. She waited for them to come willingly. And that is what makes her one of the most terrifying criminals in modern history.